All right.
Are we here? Oh, it's going to be one of those kind
It's
of
me.
cooking shows.
Don't leave. This isn't a joke.
I don't know if anyone's even here yet, Sean.
That's because it's delayed. See, Barb's on the other side, and she's clueless,
I'm clueless.
just like I'm going to be on the kicking side. I can't even say kitchen. That's how pathetic I am in the kitchen. I can't even pronounce the word.
Kicking
And at the same time, I have like 13 different things going on here because, as you may or may not know, depending on how new you are, I'm the guy usually behind the scenes, running the lights and the cameras and checking the other computer. And I see I am getting my head cut off.
I think I need to refresh.
Which, and then of course I have Barb over here making all these comments. What am I doing? How do I do this?
Oh, there you are. I found you. Oh, Nancy's
good.
here.
So
Hey,
Barb...
Nancy. Thank you for showing up because we're a little bit... Is that okay like that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what you did? You looked at the camera, so I'm thinking you're looking at me.
Oh
Okay,
boy, oh boy.
here we go.
So anyway, welcome to Shift Kitchen. If you don't know me, I'm Charlie McDermott, the other half of Barb, who is right here off camera. Poke your head in there, girl.
How do you do it? Oh.
Hey, there she is. And so she's going to keep me tame, and I think she's going to point out a few things. You know what? Would you mind turning the light on right above me? It's a little
yes.
dark in the center. Yes. And today, as you know, or maybe just shut up, waiting for the big surprise, we've got, what's it called? Foil, don't boil.
Well, yeah, it's your bay butter.
Yeah, but it's one of my favorite dishes. And I prepared, as you know, that you veterans who watch the show, we do one first so you can see the finished product.
Kelly's here.
Hey, Kelly. And then I'm going to walk you through how to do it. But literally, I started making, oh my god, how distracting. I started making, Barb's over here laughing, making the first batch at 5:30 our time. And what I said, like 11 minutes later, done.
Yeah.
All right, that's how quick and fast. And the best part is, as Barb was saying on Monday night, no cleanup, zero. And I typically will make this dish outside on the grill. Yeah. Which we should have done tonight, but it's a lot easier in the kitchen. And I know you guys are freezing, most of you, and you're not even, you know, the grill is like locked away somewhere. So we're going to talk.
Jody says she sees butter.
Oh, yeah, if you have an aversion to butter, run.
Don't look. In fact, I'll tell you, the first time, I usually don't even watch. I'm just, this is my night off when he does his salmon. So the first time I looked, I was like, oh my gosh, how much butter are you putting on there? It's a lot.
I put a lot of butter on.
It's a lot. But you know, that's for two of us. It's not like we're eating all, but still, it doesn't matter, does it?
And as you see, I mean, and like all my recipes, like I have any, oh, there's the timer. Our first batch is done. We'll pull that out in a second. For me, it's all about taste. I don't measure anything. I just kind of put it on there and pop it in the oven. And it is the best salmon, which is what we're going to cook tonight, the best salmon I have ever had. Restaurants anywhere, and I think you said the same thing a few times, my dear, haven't you?
Yeah, it's hard to read and listen to at the same time.
All right, that's all right. So, let me pop out the...
Tracy says aloha. I wonder if she is
still in... are you still in Hawaii?
Are you home and I'm just carrying it on, you know, carrying that spirit on.
So, there's our first batch. How's that look? Very appetizing, huh? We'll reveal what's inside in a little bit.
Ladies here.
All right. So let's get started.
Yeah.
So I love stopping at Publix, which is our local grocery. On the way back, I typically will jump on the bike, ride the beach a couple miles, get a workout in, or do whatever. Come back around and hit the Publix grocery and buy a couple salmon fillets, and we cook that for dinner on a typical evening. We probably once a week. That's kind of a staple for us. It's real nice if you have a fish place. Salmon, I've done tilapia, cod. I mean, there's whatever fish is out there. We've also done shrimp.
I love my shrimp like this. Yes.
Yep. So you can do all kinds of things this way. But we're using salmon tonight, so here it is.
And the cool thing about salmon is that if we were to use chicken, right? Chicken and salmon have about the same amount of protein. So if you had about 4 ounces of chicken and 4 ounces of salmon, that would be about 25 grams of protein per serving. But for chicken, even with the skin, it's only 3 grams of fat, just 3. Whereas salmon is 5 times that, about 15 grams of fat per 4-ounce serving.
Okay.
So getting a salmon in instead of chicken is a really wise idea for those of us who are eating that fat focused.
And it's a very, very satisfying meal.
It fills you up. Once you've eaten a bunch of bites, you're like, done. I'm good.
Okay, so this is the piece. I mean, typically, again, at our grocery, you can get them to cut it for you, which I recommend because the skin's pretty tough. You can get a big fillet. Typically, what I will get for Barb and me is 2 smaller fillets, but I got the bigger one because I can show you. I'm going to show you a little trick, and that is I'm going to slice it right down the middle. Where I might cheat and give myself a little bigger piece and Barb a smaller piece. But cutting through the skin is about basically ridiculous. Maybe a chainsaw, but you don't have to worry about that because the skin. This is just going to you'll see when we're finished. This just flakes right off the skin, so you don't have to worry about cutting the skin. I'm just going to cut the fillet part right down the middle.
Right down.
All right. So I will do my cut.
Lauren's saying, got smell-o-vision, you know.
Oh, yeah,
You always say that about movies. Wouldn't it be great someday if we could actually do that?
Yeah. So, let me make sure you guys can see that. So there you go. It is cut. No big deal. All right, so now I've got the skin below and nice even slice across. And now all I'm going to do is get a piece of Reynolds wrap or whatever foil you use. I typically will use the heavy-duty version. It doesn't matter if you only have the lighter version, and I'll share with you why in a minute. I'll take a nice big piece, lay it on the counter, and then pop that salmon right on there.
Without the plastic.
Without the plastic, Barb said. Well, thank God she's here, huh? All right. And I will wash my fishy hands.
And the interesting thing that I also love about this, if you're a math shifter, you know, those of us who really like to count our fat grams, you know, 4 ounces is about your fist size. You know, it's about, you know, like this for salmon. That's 14 grams of fat, and then every tablespoon of butter is 14 grams of fat. 14, 14, Man, 14.
I'm glad you showed up.
Easy math counting.
Because I can never remember all that. All right. So, I have the salmon ready. My version. And there are a bunch of different versions. We have salt. We have parsley. We have
a seafood seasoning.
Seafood seasoning. I use these two.
Yeah.
All right. But Barb likes the...
some bay seasoning.
Bay seasoning.
You know, tastes like the beach.
And there's also black pepper. All right. So... there is no wrong version. You put the spices on that you like. So I will start with the salt, sprinkle that on. Couple spins on the wheel. I don't go real light on the salt. I don't go real light on the seafood seasoning.
And because we don't have to worry about the salt because our insulin levels are low, so our body's never retaining that fluid. That's when it gets to be a problem, when your body's retaining fluid. Okay?
So what that means is all these years that I've been suffering eating dry salmon, tasteless salmon,
no butter or salt,
or needing some kind of sauce to get it down.
Yeah.
Now I have a very, very flavorful piece of fish. And what was happening is years ago I was actually eating fish less because it was like, oh, I have to suffer through another salmon meal, right? Or fish, whatever your fish is. Okay, so let me just show you what this looks like. Not that you can see the salt by any stretch, but you can see I've got the seafood seafood seasoning sprinkled on there pretty good. And now, for my favorite part, the butter. And this is about 3/4 of a stick. This is left over from my earlier version. And I am just going to lay chunks on top of the salmon.
Chunks, right? So that's 14, 14, 14. Anyone who wants to do the math. But this is divided by 2 people, you know, or 3 people, depending upon, you know, it's going to feed. That could feed 2 to 3. That could feed a family of 3.
Yeah, this is a big,
that's a
big piece. Yep, yep.
But the cool thing is have I ever finished it? I've never finished it.
Yeah.
I finished the broccoli, but I can't get the salmon in because it's already such an oily, omega-3 drenched food. It's delicious and so good for us.
All right. Did anybody get sick? Anybody throw up?
Not this crowd. If we were on some kind of low-fat crap, show, scaring people.
So there's your.
I think we see it.
What it looks like, up close and personal. All right, and of course that's all going to melt. And what's nice is when I seal this up, it's just going to bake inside that nice salmon or butter broth.
So you'll never have a dry piece of fish. Yep. Remember those days when you try to choke down a piece of salmon? It's so dry.
Yeah. All right, now. This is where it gets probably the most complicated, and that's sealing this puppy up. All right, so sometimes, and in this case, you go a little short on the, or the fillet is too big for the foil. You may have to double it up, but I'll start with a fold over. I mean, the key is just to get an airtight seal as much as possible so it bakes inside the foil.
John's here.
Hey, John! And then I try to feel for where the fish is.
This is where he's type A when it comes to doing his salmon.
Button that up, and it's really important on the sides that you kind of fold them up as much as possible, because what you don't want is, and what's nice about the lack of cleanup, if you don't, the butter will leak out and you'll have to do your pan, which may happen anyway. But what I think is the most important part is you don't want that nice butter flavor to leak out. So
not only butter flavor, but butyrate, butter fat.
Yep.
We want all that.
So do what you can to seal that up.
Now see, that's the difference. I probably would have put that thing right on the rack, but Charlie is wiser that way. Put it into a baking sheet, right?
So so we use a baking sheet for that reason, so you don't have the butter leaking out, or sometimes the foil gets ripped and you don't know it until after the fact. If I'm grilling it, I won't use the baking pan. I'll just put it right on the grill, because no big deal if the butter's leaking. All right. So
and you could also have slipped in a few pieces of shrimp too.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done pieces of garlic for certain meals. It's and even at times when I'm really in a rush, depending on the meal, like chicken, for example, I'll throw the vegetables in at the same time, or sausage. So, but in this case, I like my veggies separate. So, on with the broccoli, another large piece of foil. Rip her out, and we've got our broccoli right here. All I'm going to do is, I don't put these full pieces on. I like to cut them up. For one, they're going to cook faster, and then I don't need a knife when it's done, when I'm ready to eat it. So
sometimes you can eat this right out of the foil, right?
Oh, I do.
Well, oftentimes.
Yeah.
That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Yeah, this truly is, if you don't mind eating with your fingers or plastic forks, well, all right, I have the butter knife, so very little cleanup.
Patty Beasley's here.
Patty!
Patty!
All right, so again, I'm just cutting up the broccoli. I'm going to try not to, although it would probably be pretty interesting if I did slice my finger, just to keep it fun and interesting, and we'd have it on video. It might go viral, which would be pretty cool.
I don't think you've ever hurt yourself in the kitchen. That's my thing. That's my trademark. It's my signature move.
And how much broccoli is this, would you say? A couple heads?
No. We took one head and divided it in half for... Oh, yeah, 2 heads. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes, I see what you're saying.
So, I figure...
Small heads.
Again, this tastes so darn good. I tend to go overboard with the broccoli. So... and it's just as good the next night too. So
and of course, we know broccoli has both heavy amounts of magnesium and potassium, right? And we know those are both real important for managing blood sugar levels and, forming glycogen, getting rid of cravings. So
now,
triple win
this is one where I'll take a few. I'm not going to do it now because it just takes so long to peel garlic. But I'll peel some garlic every now and then, slice it up, and pop in a few cloves in with the
gosh,
broccoli,
it's heaven.
and oh man, that cooks up so nice.
Heaven.
All right, so we've got our broccoli, and yes, I'm kind of a one-trick pony. Yep, more salt.
But here's the interesting thing. Because you're using salt and you're using butter on broccoli, you don't need to add onions. You don't need to add other vegetables that are higher on that glycemic index, that are going to perhaps raise up carbohydrate higher than you really want it to be, right? So the beautiful thing is that broccoli is phenomenal like this.
Yeah.
And the other one's over there. Okay. I had it softened and ready for you. Softened and ready. Oh, Karen's here. Hey, Karen.
Karen.
Yay.
All right, gonna add some more
John
butter,
wants to
and
know
then
if you ship.
what's that?
If you ship.
If I ship.
You make the
Oh
dinner,
yeah,
you ship it.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, interesting. Tracy had just shared. It looks like a perfect Friday night during Lent meal, right?
That is
It's
a good point.
usually it's our dinner where we don't when we're short on time, or if the refrigerator's a little bit empty, just we always have broccoli around. Just pick up a fresh thing of salmon is so easy.
True.
Or take anything
All
and wrap
right.
it in foil. That's what I say.
Anybody want to lick my buttery fingers?
Blue does.
Yeah, she's looking at me like, oh.
Blue does.
All right, so we're back to the wrap and seal process. Center it. Sometimes I go too wide. I have to kind of shake the broccoli out. There we go.
Wouldn't this be great in a home economics class, or like teaching high schoolers or young college kids life survival skills? Like, boom, there you go, right?
That's what I aspire to do once I free myself from you. All right. Yep. Got a piece of broccoli trying to squeeze out. So same deal. I'm going to make sure the ends are sealed up nice and tight so the butter doesn't leak out. Go to the other side. Flatten it and seal.
Flatten it and seal. I have to remember that.
And we are ready to roll. So.
And of course, I had some fresh parsley cut for him, but he's not a fancy man.
So we're ready to pop this in the oven. So what I had mentioned earlier, you guys who got on there in the beginning, you saw me pull out this batch. We're going to show that. Those of you who joined us late, I started making this batch.
We timed him.
At 5:30, and 11 minutes later, it was in the oven. And I wasn't rushing.
No.
I mean,
and what's the oven set to?
The oven is set to 400, and it was in for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, if you want to do it on the grill, it's going to depend on the grill. But I close the lid, and the same deal. I put it in for about 20 minutes. Every now and then, especially depending on the thickness of the salmon fillet, I'll peek in and unravel and see how things look. Or you can kind of hear if it's really bubbling. You're in good shape. And you can even, if you pull it out and you're not sure, you can just let it sit for a bit and it'll cook within the aluminum foil for a while as well. And if you see smoke, it's definitely done. Pull it off. Okay.
That's how I tell things done by my nose, generally.
So let's take a look. Oh, the pressure's really on now.
I know, man. We haven't opened it up, so. But the cool thing was, we're getting set up to do this show, right?
Yep.
And then you said to me, well, wait a minute, I have to do one ahead of time to show them it's done. Like, yes, you do. And you hopped on it and just started it, and literally we looked at the clock and said, whoa, how many minutes was that? I'm like, that was 11 minutes.
This smells very good.
Yum. Great with a little glass of red wine.
Here's what it looks like. The broccoli. You can see it's steaming.
I've never had broccoli that tastes better, ever, than this broccoli.
Ooh, hot.
Hot broccoli.
Oh boy, I could. Okay.
And the cool thing is everything's in there. When we
you guys should come over and join us.
Oftentimes we can cook foods and we can ruin things.
Oh,
right?
man.
Overcooking, right?
And some of that butter did leak out, but most of it is in the taste of the broccoli.
It gets
very,
in there.
very good.
Yeah.
All right, the salmon.
Drum roll.
Let's see what we have here. Woo! The toughest part of this meal is taking the aluminum foil off.
Yeah, well, maybe just hold it on the pan and show them.
No, we're good.
You got it? Because I can see it. Oh, my. And you know what's nice?
All right.
You can tell that that's cooked right because it's
So
just a nice
look at
light
that.
color.
Let's see if we can give you a. You know, let me
Want a plate?
pull a piece off. Yeah, give me my scooper
A scooper?
to get a piece of the fillet
A
off.
scooper.
Whatever you call
Does that
that
mean a
thing.
spatula? Spatula.
What is that other thing?
This one?
I want the right tool. I want my salmon scooper.
That's not a. Oh, that's,
This is officially a salmon scooper from this day on.
Okay.
All right, so we have that nice slice that we made earlier, and now I can just easily pop this off without the skin
Yeah, that's what's nice. It comes right off the skin.
and put it on the plate so you can see.
How flaky.
Yeah, I mean,
Moist.
look at it,
Succulent.
just breaking off. And what's nice about having the skin on there, although it's not on, it peeled right off. You can see there's no skin on the back. If you do overcook it, the skin protects it.
Yeah.
So I've done times on the grill, especially when I kind of forget keeping track of time, and I actually burn the bottom, but the salmon doesn't get burnt, just the skin gets burnt. So that's real nice. So let's do a test taste. Ready?
Yeah.
Yep, it's
Oh, fingers.
fingers. But what you have to do this on camera.
God, I
They
feel
might not
weird.
believe that you're actually eating it. Does she really eat his food though? That's the big question. All right, now let's
That's
prove
really,
it.
really, really, really good. And I'm so excited because we have like double batch.
Oh
So here's the
man,
thing.
that was
Since we
good.
made a double batch, we'll put the other one in the refrigerator after it cools down, and I can use that tomorrow over arugula,
Yep.
you know, over any kind of green salad, or I can just have that with the broccoli for lunch tomorrow.
And you see all this great butter
Yeah,
sauce
butter.
in here too? Mm-hmm. All right, I'll use a spoon and I'll just drizzle it on my salmon as well.
And another fun idea is putting walnuts in there. Imagine that cooked up with that butter. Delicious.
Yeah.
And all of those are wonderful sources of both omega-6s and omega-3s. Both are essential fats for our body. That means our body doesn't make it. We need to get it from an outside source. And you know, there's a big scare about omega-6. We want to really have an equal balance of omega-6s and omega-3s, you know, in our diet. And eating shifted, it happens just naturally. You know, omega-6s you're going to get in your beef, your chicken, your nuts. When it gets, the American diet tends to get way too much omega-6s because it's in your corn oils, your sunflower oils. All of our packaged products are going to be loaded with omega-6s. So when you can get it from a natural source, like we do, the way we eat every day, that balance between the 3 and the 6 just happens naturally. Your salmon's going to be your omega-3s, and your butter is your saturated fat. These are polyunsaturated, what we're using here with the salmon, and it's just a win. It's just an absolute win. So, huh?
Yeah.
Am I lucky or what? I'm really lucky.
I think Blue's the lucky one. She gets to lick my
She
buttery
licks his
fingers.
up. Let me see if there's any questions.
Yeah. Any questions
Nice
you
dinner
have?
to serve. Looks yummy. Yep. I think everyone is. I mean, is there anything simpler?
Yeah.
And really, I guess the only cleanup that actually is if you put it onto a plate, your spatula or your scooper, as he calls it. Thank you, Kelly, saying she needs a scooper now. And sometimes we get some butter on our baking dishes. Oh gosh, we got to rinse those off. But man, it is. Once you start doing it, you're gonna understand when I say don't boil. Foil. Because when I say boil, I'm more like this. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to have to cook. That's what I'm saying when I say don't boil.
Fast,
Okay.
simple, and delicious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Say goodbye, Blue. Bye.
Goodbye, Blue.
All
See
right.
you Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at the workout on Saturday. Take care.
Thanks for being here.